Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Keep Your Torch Lit podcast covering Survivor Michigan. I am fresh off of dose number 2 of Moderna, and I am feeling lit right now. Woo! Let's podcast, baby.
Whoa. So I'm this is Sarah, by the way. I'm getting my second dose of Pfizer tomorrow. So we're about to be 2 out of 3 vaccinated. What about you, Sam?
Whoa. Yeah, my name is Sam. Getting my second dose of Pfizer in a couple of weeks. So sorry, Jack, that you got the
Whoa.
we got the name brand. You got the kind of the Walmart brand vaccine, but I'm sure it does the trick just as fine. You probably won't die or anything from it. So
Guys, are there gonna be
Okay.
like different alliances in the future that are like Pfizer versus Moderna alliance?
yeah,
There's
Moderna's
totally
Pfizer Final
is.
Two,
basically
Pfizer
El
Final Two.
Norte. Like Moderna is like a Spanish word. Modern, like El Norte, Spanish word. Modern,
Oh,
Spanish word. It's modern. It's the North. Because that I don't know where Moderna is
yeah.
actually made, and it's a lot, and usually like the cooler kids are coming from Moderna, and like Pfizer people are a bunch of like
Mm,
lame
okay.
know-it-all Silicon
Mm.
Valley people. You know,
What about J&J?
J&J is like
I feel like that's like to
that's like Sabu Sabu,
Tokidoki.
because it's J&J, Sabu and
Oh,
Sabu.
Sabu.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Hmm.
Sabu Sabu.
So they're the one that like the other vaccines all gang up against,
Yeah.
basically.
Exactly. Like
Aw.
Tormenta and I can't think of the tribe name right now. What am I blanking on
Tafiti.
this? Tafiti. See,
Okay, this makes
Moderna.
so much sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just ganging up on poor little
Wow, I
Johnson
feel
and
like
Johnson.
yeah, but Johnson and
Oh,
John, it's obviously they've got the heart, so maybe there's something there, right?
speaking of hearts, I think I think our hearts were all beating really fast when the episode started and we got some background info on that idol.
Whoa, what a transition!
Because it was like we were going into a time machine. It was like we're in a DeLorean. We had to go back all the way to episode 1. I kind of liked how you guys did that with the editing of like the black and white. You slowly see everything we've seen before while we're taken all the way back to when Tom read that clue in episode 1.
Yeah. I saw this James guy had a really good comment about how you guys are kind of showing it like how the players perceive it in the
Mm-hmm.
moment. And
Hmm.
then it kind of like rewinds and then we get more of the backstory and it's more exciting that way. And I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there was something a little special in there, in that like you have the same experience Tom had of like, oh my gosh, I just got blindsided with an idol in my pocket. Then it's like, whoa, plot twist. Turns out it was fake the whole time. Oh my gosh, you got
Mm-hmm.
punked.
Yeah,
Didn't Tom didn't Tom not realize it was fake for like a long time after? Wasn't that a thing?
I think that like
mm-hmm.
after
Oh,
Aaron obviously leaked some things to like on people in the game from the pre-jury, I think production was like super super paranoid about telling anything to people that are in the pre-jury group chat. So we were like, can we tell Tom that his idol is fake? Because we felt bad because he went
Yeah.
home thinking he was blindsided with an idol in his pocket.
yeah.
We're like, I mean, we could tell him, but we were like, no, no, no. We had to crack down on like telling any information to pre-jury people because we were kind of freaked out from the whole Aaron thing. So unfortunately,
Yeah, what if Tom starts
Tom had
going
to
down his
stew on that for a
list
little
and starts like
while.
FaceTiming people in the game, and it's like, oh my god, you guys won't
That's
believe this. It
funny.
was a fake idol the whole time. Or like, and everybody on
But yeah,
Eleanor
Jack.
is just like, yeah, we knew the whole time. I think you're the only person that didn't know on Eleanor, which is kind of sad.
Oh,
Jack, I was wondering if you could explain kind of like what actually happened with the clue, like Ben's whole thing. 'Cause, like I know a lot of the fans were like, "What? That was so stupid of Ben to share the clue with everybody." When like obviously
Mm-hmm.
there's other things going on with the clue being fake, like, and it wasn't really shown in the edit exactly like what happened.
Yeah, and so I'm not 100%. I'm sure on exactly the exact chronology. Like, I really need to just like go back and like watch some of my own confessionals before I do these episodes to because I like once I like think of questions like this, I'm like, wait, actually, did this happen first? Did this happen? But anyways, how I remember it is that like obviously Ben got the clue, and I think he came to us in like that 4-person Breakfast Club alliance, and was like, okay, like I think because we were already wanting to get Tom out at that point, so we're like, what if we just send out a clue to Tom and say and like plant a fake clue there, and plant a fake idol like where this clue like will obviously lead, because then we'll kind of use. I think one, we kind of just wanted we didn't want to have to give away the real clue, and two, we wanted him because if the real idol was still out there, we wanted Tom to like find the fake idol and stop searching, because then it would allow one of us to find it potentially, and obviously that is completely irrelevant because we didn't know that Eliza had found it on day 2, but yeah, just kind of the general idea of like if Tom has this idol, he's going to feel secure and will be easier to vote him off because he has just a fake idol. He's not going to really maybe try so hard to find a real one, or like maybe he'll not try super hard if he feels like he's in danger because he can just play it, and it just kind of a contingency plan for that. So yeah, and I think we got a little too cocky with it. Like that's why in the last episode you see me actually saying the clue at tribal council, because that was obviously not the clue that Ben really got. That was just the clue. So I just had remembered it from reading it so many times, like heard because he was sending it to Tom. So just kind of like cockily, almost kind of it was definitely a little mean spirited, just kind of like a little bit like without him knowing, kind of rubbing it in his face that was a fake clue, and that wasn't the real clue that he got, and like he has this fake idol in his pocket. So that was definitely not my nicest moment, but like, yeah.
I mean, you did say last time you were somewhat mean, and this time you're going to be meaner. Mm-hmm. So
why do I got to be mean to poor old Tom?
Wait, so both idols are... I know. Okay, so both idols are in possession in Tokidoki, right?
Right.
Because they found your idol. Okay, so can we talk about how Eliza is an idol-finding queen? Like, Jack, I thought you were good, but Eliza be finding them on day 1, day 2.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had that high opinion of myself going into it, but I think, at this point, I have to give up that crown to Eliza. She multiple seasons, first person in Survivor Michigan history to find an idol in multiple seasons. Not that there's very many opportunities for that, but still.
Wait, really? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's crazy. And the fact that she got it on day 2 is just so legendary.
It's insane.
That's just so impressive. And also, I mean, a side note is that it also sucks a little bit because I think you were definitely the second person to that spot, like later in this episode. Like if she hadn't gotten that idol there, like I think that you would have found it instead. But props to Lisa for she didn't even know exactly what your clue was. She was like, oh, I assume that their clue is the opposite of our clue.
Yeah.
And searched just based on that. Like, so she found that idol technically without even having a clue on day 2. Like that's insane. That's just absolutely insane.
Yeah,
like
exactly. I wanted to go into
this
season doing like the Russell Hantz stuff about not finding an idol without clues and stuff, and she's Russell Hantz right now. She's a Lisa Hantz out there.
Has anyone else in Survivor Michigan found an idol without a clue?
I feel like they have. I feel like it's been done.
Well, I just feel like
maybe not.
I feel like in Survivor Michigan, the clues a lot of times are like not really well kept secrets. Well, either they're very they're very vague. So, but also like I feel like a lot of the times like a clue, people especially early in the game will like send it out to their whole tribe and be like, I don't want to be targeted for this,
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of time. There's not a lot of times that people haven't had knowledge of at least one clue,
And then meanwhile, Jackson's like, I don't think anyone's found any idol yet. And like 2 people on his tribe have found it. He's like, there's no way anyone could have beaten me.
Jackson. So great. I love Jackson. I think Jackson is so funny.
Should we talk about the 4 returnees and where they stand?
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the returnees. Like, I mean, Eliza, she found that idol. I feel like she also just has such a good spot in her tribe right now where she has like this whole scene where she like runs into every single person on her tribe. Everyone wants her. Like Adam wants her in his alliance, the Cool Mint Bitch alliance. Then she's also like included this Big Threats alliance, and then she has like, oh, ran into Ivy at Rick's. Oh, like blah blah blah. I have this alliance with Shannon. Oh, I have an idol. Like I feel like Elisa is absolutely killing it on Tokidoki.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
not only having the idol, she
sure.
also has a
Matthew's
supernatural idol sense in that she saw Dale's foot twitch, while they're talking about idols.
Oh,
and she's like, I think Dale
yeah.
has the idol.
That's crazy.
You know?
I was like, what?
Yeah.
She picked up on a foot twitch and
Yeah.
was like, wow. That's
This
that's
foot
next
frickin'
level.
twitch.
That is next level.
Yeah, like
I'm kind of
whatever.
scared. I would be scared to play it with Elisa. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
Lisa's
somebody you want to
just
stay
like
on the good side of.
becoming like, I feel like she got this like legend status in season 3. Like after like, I feel like ever since she had that like move with Devin where she like had those like whipped out those 2 like fake idols and the crazy thing, she got this like legend status, and it seems like it's like almost like too good to be true. But so far, she's like completely living up to the hype in this season, which I think is just like insane. Like,
Oh yeah. Yep. What about Matthew Israel? Matthew is being faced with the premiere of season 1, which I would not want season 2 to be premiering while I was playing another game. I would not want that.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be fine, Sarah, because I feel like you
Really?
because like but the thing is like you really start. I mean, you play really well through the pre-merge. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like especially in the edit, you really like skyrocket to the top in the post-merge. So like in the pre-merge, be like, yeah, like I was good. Like I wasn't like super crazy or whatever, but like I had this good alliance. Whereas like even like me, and if season 2 was playing for me, I feel like it's kind of the opposite for me. Like I had a really good pre-merge, and then like my post-merge was like I wasn't as visible or whatever. So, but like in the pre-merge, you see me finding 2 idols. You see me, doing all this crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like playing Maggie, playing us a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that's the thing. Like, I feel like, Sarah, you definitely wouldn't want like your Final 4 move to be like, like something that's shown as you're playing. Like, anytime you do something really, really good, like, oh, I found 2 idols or blah blah blah. Like anything that's going to make you look like a threat. I feel like you wouldn't want that to be airing. But like, so I feel like your season airing while you're playing can be a good or bad thing depending on like how you did. Like, that's the thing for Matthew. Like, I definitely think that like the super fan thing can make him look like a little bit threatening, but I feel like at the same time, like it can also be used in a good way in that like when he played, he was really loyal to his main alliance, and then he like didn't make the merge, so he doesn't even seem like that big of a threat either. Like, I think he said that something like that at Tribal Council, where like, yeah, if you watch the season, you see that I'm loyal to the Maison 6. He tries to like he wants to remake the Maison 6, like, with I love that by the way, where he was like, yeah, like, Dale is the Cam.
Oh yeah.
Lisa's the Brittany, minus the showmance.
Minus showmance.
Why? Because they're Jewish.
Wow.
Minus the showmance.
Minus the showmance. Because of the super obvious showmance between Matthew and Brittany in season 1, obviously, that all of us should have caught.
There was not a showmance.
Yeah,
I feel like that wasn't a showmance.
I feel like I remember one little thing where
Yeah.
like there's like I feel like there's one episode where they were like someone's like Liz is talking about how like, oh wow, like Brittany and Matthew are always FaceTiming and talking about Survivor strategy all the time. Everyone kind of like jokes about it, but I feel like it's funny that like Matthew mentions it as if it's like some obvious thing that like all the fans should know about, and I feel like it was pretty like minor, like very like
I think they do though.
Barely alluded to in season 1. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who knows.
Yeah, I feel like you make some Boston Rob and Amber references.
Hidden lore.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of Matthew's reference. Matthew had some great lines this episode, like hello, I'm ordering a casket for Adam Smolinski.
Oh yeah. And then that was like cut between him saying that and then Adam being like, I feel so good right now. Like I'm controlling everyone's vote this week. Oh,
Adam.
That was good. Good editing.
You're either
I
the
feel like
puppet master
you
or the
should just
puppet. Bitch, I ain't no puppet. I will give him this in his performance in season 4. He was definitely not anyone's puppet. Like he was completely like doing his own thing. I mean, well, obviously we have a lot more Adam to talk about in this episode, but
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, if anything,
Yeah.
he was a puppet master
Yeah,
who
he's like
his
he's.
puppets got like all tangled up all the strings, and then they came and
Mhm.
like attacked him, and
Mm,
or like he tricked on
yes.
them and like fell onto the
Yes.
stage, you know, and people started throwing tomatoes at him, you know.
He was like he's kind of like Pinocchio. Like he was a like it's like a puppet, but kind of not. He has his
He was
own ideas
yeah,
still, but like I don't know.
and they all
He's
all of his puppets like
yeah.
turned against him.
yeah.
Like he has all of Tokidoki on the
Aw.
strings, but then they all
Yeah.
like are like, wait a second, I don't feel like doing that.
That sounds like a
Um,
horror movie. I'm not
that's
gonna
yeah.
lie.
I mean, that's what it was. Episode 3 of Fire Michigan was a horror movie. Adam John Smolinski being attacked by his own puppets.
And you know who I feel like purposely makes his game into a horror movie? That's just like what he likes to do. Is Ben. Ben's my favorite because he's so chaotic, and I feel like he purposely
Mhm.
like he wants to create a horror movie narrative for himself. It just like happens.
Yeah, he can't have everything be too calm for a while. He needs a jump scare to come.
Guys, if Ben were in
I,
a horror movie, what type of character would he be?
He would
I
definitely
feel like he'd be the one with like the crazy ideas of like how to escape,
and how to be like
and then he would
10,000
like
steps
almost
ahead
make
of the
it.
killer.
He's like 10,000 steps with the killer, but then somehow he like almost makes it to the end, but then he's like the last one who dies. I think that's what he is.
He's like, so okay, so he has all the ideas,
Yeah,
but he's the one that dies just before. You know,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's definitely the star, but maybe he's also of the movie, but maybe he's also like
Oh, definitely the star.
sacrifice.
he's like the one who along the way is like making all the little mistakes that allow the killer to keep killing. Like Ben's the one who's like, "Oh, let's all split up, guys. Okay, that's a good idea. And oh, okay, let's go. All go. You know, this basement's a little dark, but you know what? I think there's nothing down here. Let's all go, guys." And then you know maybe other people die because of it, but then he keeps on trucking forward.
And then Nate's the one that's like vlogging the whole thing and making TikToks.
Yeah.
Yep. Nate would purposely try to like kill other people. Like he would be like to make sure he survives ahead of them.
Yeah,
Oh
he'd
my
make it like a
gosh.
funny video, like the killer like killing the other person. Like look how dumb this person was. They fucking love him as
Do it for
idiot.
TikTok clout.
Yeah.
Nader's gonna Nate.
It's like
Nader's
some
gonna
like pop
Nate.
star music playing in the background. Like,
Like just like oh my gosh. But yeah, so it seems like I don't know. How did you feel about Ben at this point, Jack? Like, did you think anyone really like trusted? I guess Katie is like his person, right?
hmm Yeah, I have that quote, I think, about like if Ben is like Ben being the devil and if the devil is on my side or not. And I think that's kind of exactly how I felt. I feel like at this point in the game, I even saw somebody I think in a YouTube comment or something. I think referred to this. Like I was really just kind of like wishy washy at this point. And I was just like really just kind of like I feel like I almost like I was like I had a lot of relationships with people, but then like I was just like already getting like too paranoid almost and getting a little Will syndrome and being like, wait, is this the good relationship I want to have, or do I want to have this relationship? Do I want to like put more emphasis on this relationship? Do I want to trust this relationship? Is this a relationship I can, you know, just like I don't know. I feel like I almost like you know at this point just being like yeah, and that's kind of and I like just really was just like unsure of how to feel about Ben and like not knowing if I should trust him 100% or trust him like zero. So I was just kind of like um, yeah, really not sure of where I would be going forward at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like that definitely like speaks a lot to like how Ben was viewed in this game by like a lot of people, and that up until this point, like he's trying really, really hard to like kind of like escape his past and like turn over a new leaf. I think like he even said like, yeah, I want to like make a new alliance. I want to be loyal to that alliance. And like, I feel like it's tough because of his baggage and like the Ben bomb, like nobody ever really feels like they can actually trust him though. Like, so I feel a little bad because I feel like Ben's constantly kind of like in not a super great spot. Like he's in the majority on El Norte, but like I feel like a lot of people in the game are skeptical of him. Like all of Tokidoki, like Dale's like, I didn't know you before. Now I know you. Now you're done. Like his whole, Godfather shtick over there. Like I feel like Ben has a lot of notoriety, and it's not even because of anything he's done in season 4. Like it's all just because of his previous season. So I feel like that's tough as a returnee to kind of like, I don't know what Ben really could have done differently than what he's done so far to like make himself seem less sketchy, because he hasn't done anything super sketchy yet, but he just has that.
Well, he told maybe not tell people about the Ben bomb. I don't know.
I guess, but I feel like they would have. Lisa already told her tribe anyways.
About the Ben bomb.
Yeah,
they all would have known about it. I feel like
that was actually a good move.
That would have been like yeah.
At least he owned it.
Like that would have been the first thing I told Camila and Megan. When our like one-on-one meeting. So even Tom early on, I would have been like, you know what Ben did, and then especially if I tell Tom in like episode 1, then everybody knows.
Yeah, that's true. But Jack, you're doing pretty well. I feel like you're kind of in the middle of your tribe right now. And like people don't really know how close you are to certain people.
And it was definitely something that I was, I definitely felt good about it. And I felt good about my place in the game for sure at this point. And just like, I knew had all of these different relationships going. I just wasn't sure which ones exactly I should keep growing, which ones I should be more wary of. So I get it's kind of like, I was just kind of maybe complaining about my position, but it's a good problem to have, of being like, oh, I'm close to too many people, like it's better than having like nobody want to work with me.
This challenge was interesting because it was like 2 different parts and they were like kind of random, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that it wasn't actually 2 different parts.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of movie magic in this challenge.
Oh yeah, wait, I remember
there was an entire another segment of the challenge that was completely cut out that Tokidoki won.
I mean, like, I will say this, like, from the production side, this challenge, like, not to point any fingers, there's just a lot of things that went wrong, and I will say this is probably one of the most chaotically produced challenges that like we ever had. Like there's just so many. Obviously, like season 4, like, Tokidoki had a lot of qualms with it, and then there's also like just there's just a lot of crazy stuff with this one. That
wait, what was the 3rd part that was cut out?
So it was, what's that game called where you have to? Oh shoot.
21 flags.
Like, I had to count to 21 or something. Right. What was it? What?
Oh, where you have to be the last one to get to 21 or something?
Yeah.
21 flags from Thailand, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
So the way the challenge was set up was, and you have to. There's 3 parts, and you need to win 2 out of 3 to win the challenge. The first part was the questions, which we all saw, and like the whatever, guess what name those people put in your the right answer is in your tribe. The second part was 21 flags. So El Norte won the first part, Tokidoki won the second part, and then the tiebreaker was the puzzle. The way it was edited was it to look like, oh, the puzzle's the second challenge, and if if El Norte would have lost that, there would be a tiebreaker. But actually, Tokidoki won 21 flags, and the puzzle was the tiebreaker. And like, it was just editing.
Well, why'd you cut it out?
Ian cut out the 21 flags because basically, like, it just like wasn't good on TV and just wasted a lot of time. And like, I think instead of showing that, he just like was like, okay, let's just cut to the puzzle part. I think how it went for the tiebreaker was that each tribe had to vote for who they thought the weakest member of the other tribe was. So Tokidoki voted for Camila. El Norte voted for Shannon. Those two people had to do the puzzle. And then
yeah, I
there was
remember
actually
that. Why didn't we include that part?
I don't know if
Because
it was
that's
on
interesting.
film.
It's who they thought was like when.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
interesting.
No,
But
really?
the part that was messed up was that
Because it's like they thought they wouldn't. Yeah.
they didn't have an equal amount of puzzle pieces. You know how like each person had a certain number of puzzle
What?
pieces of the other person's puzzle, but Shannon had more of Camila's puzzle than
Yeah.
Camila had of Shannon's puzzle. Like Shannon had 7 of Camila's
What?
pieces, but Camila only had 6 of Shannon's. So like, there's no way you could actually trade
Why?
fairly. I think it was like a mistake.
What?
Like, it was
Why
a
didn't you just
mistake.
make it 7-7? Oh my god.
And they didn't realize till the challenge was like already going, and that's where Tokidoki was all like, Shannon should have just hid one piece because Camila would have been able to notice that, like, oh, she would have thought it was 6-6, but Shannon just like gave Camila
Is
traded
that
7 pieces
why?
for 6 with Camila.
Is that why they were Tokidoki was so mad?
I feel like they're mostly mad because of the first part where like the questions seemed a little bit unfair, like, oh, who's
Yeah.
married, and like it was Eliza and not Dale, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't know, Jack.
Because Kat was so mad.
Yeah.
But when is she not mad?
Cat's always mad. Wait, also, Jack, do you want to explain the chant? 'Cause there's all that you guys had coming into the challenge. What was the whole deal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I think I had just been to. So my sister goes to school, or I guess went to school at LSU, and I had just been like that past fall to an LSU football game. I think it was LSU Bama, and so they had this chant. You know, who are we, Tigers? Who are, or what? I can't remember. See, my memory is just like not good right now. I don't.
Jack,
Why
are you
can't I remember
okay?
things? I don't. Maybe I'm not. Moderna Mafia. I should have gotten the Pfizer. No, but basically, it's, it's the dumb thing. We're gonna kick their ass and beat the shit out of them or whatever. And I just thought it would be silly to have doing the challenge. I don't think
Is it because
Tokidoki
was it
liked
inspiration? Was it inspiration from Ohana when we marched into the Steal the Bacon challenge?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted some intimidation, so I just thought just do a vulgar college football chant. That'll get us all really pumped up and get the other team angry. Because if you can get the other team angry at you, they're more reliable to make mistakes, especially in like mental things. If they're just kind of pissed off in general. So I think we definitely. I mean, whether it's because of us, probably not really, but Tokidoki definitely left this challenge pissed off. So I'd say, as a whole, the mission was a success.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you definitely did seem to. I mean, I don't know whether or not the chant intimidated them. It definitely got in their heads a little bit because all the confessionals, like, that chant was so dumb, like so annoying. Like, it seems like they were all just like annoyed by it. So, got in their heads for sure.
Exactly.
Dale's like, it's not even a funny or rhymeful chant. Like, what even is that?
We should ask Dale what
they're talking about it.
Yep.
She has such a clever brain. Better than my brilliant mind.
His 40-year-old matured mind with a wife, knowledge of marriage in there, the ultimate alliance.
Yeah.
The knowledge of having a child and raising them.
Lisa has a husband/wife.
Oh, you're
right. Wait,
right.
guys, I thought it was so funny how the production couldn't find Dale on Facebook. Like, that's such like a old person thing.
Why aren't you?
It's so bad.
Well, did you check MySpace, assholes?
Dale's like famous on MySpace.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how Eliza's basically like
Facebook
what kind of
thing?
Eliza like has so many secrets. Like, she's able to like detect idols just by seeing someone's foot twitch. She has like a secret like spouse that nobody knew about. Like, she had a secret idol that nobody knows about. Like, how many secrets does Elisa have?
I
Like,
know.
what exactly is going on here?
I think I might be married on Facebook.
See, it's like such a good secret that not even she knew it. Like, if you can keep a secret from yourself, that's a big secret. You know, I feel like if I could have used that skill in season 2, if I could have kept the secret for myself that I had 2 idols, then I wouldn't have told people.
Wait, that reminds
me.
And
I'd just maybe tell myself at a later point
that
I had 2 idols, I needed it.
Well, that reminds me of when Camila was like, I don't even know where I stand with people sometimes, or something like that, remember? Where she's like, people are asking me how I'm like, I don't even know sometimes. I forgot what she said.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the best kind of secret is to have a secret with yourself. The best kind of inside joke is an inside joke with yourself. I mean, I think that those are some of the main takeaways from season 4 so far.
Yeah. It's all about self-empowerment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trust nobody, not even yourself.
So yeah, Camila wins it for El Norte. Do we want to talk about her game a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like, Camila, she has. That's the thing. I feel like we talked a lot about like how you have had a really good position in your tribe, Jack, and like Eliza and like Dale and like these people playing pretty good games. Like, I feel like we haven't talked as much about like Camila's also playing like a very, very good. Like, I would say out of all the new people on El Norte, like, she's definitely been playing the best game of them. Like, being in the middle of basically the entire tribe while
100%.
also having like no target on her back. Like, I think that she's been playing a really underrated game so far.
Yeah, and I think she's also a fan favorite, at least, I think. Because her confessionals are really good.
Oh, yeah, she definitely...
Yeah. She definitely reminds me a bit of, like...
Yeah, she
the Lavana kind of energy. But, like, definitely, like, with this more strategic...
But, like but less... Yeah.
But, like, I feel like she's dangerous because she can almost, like, give off the Lavana type of persona to other people, and, like, so they might not, you know, realize she's that big of a threat.
Right.
You know? Because she can kind of seem like this, ditzy, like, alpha girl, and, like, really she is really paying attention to what's going on, you know, making these strategic relationships. Even if, you know, maybe she isn't 100% sure of her feelings at all times, but, you know what, neither am I.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like both of you put yourself in a good position and that you guys can... It seems like there definitely is this, like, 3 kind of pairs, like, you and Camila, Ben and Katie, Nate and Megan. But, like, you guys definitely have... I mean, Megan shared the clue with you guys. And, like, Megan and Nate, like, have this alliance with you. Ben and Katie have this alliance with you. Like, you and Camila are kind of in between these 2 other pairs and kind of, like, pick whatever way you want to go.
Yeah, we're playing both sides. So we always come out on top.
Wow.
Megan got the clue. I mean, good for her. She's like, I feel like I only got the clue because I didn't know the name of Camila's YouTube video from 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I feel like she was kind of insulted that she got the clue. Because she's like, I don't want the other tribe to think I'm, like, at the bottom or something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. They did choose Tom because they thought he was at the bottom in the first
episode. It's like, you don't want to be insulted, but also, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing if they don't think you're a threat. I don't know. At least at this point.
Yeah, but Megan also she could be like, oh my god, like Tom got it last episode and he went right out. Does that mean I'm going to be the next one out?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, what do they know? Like, do they know I'm going to get voted out or something?
Yeah.
It was like, I think it was Jackson, Matthew, and Adam who gave her the clue, and like, she was like, I feel like you guys just gave it to me because it looks like I'm on the bottom. And like, they were not super convinced, and they were like, no, of course not, Megan. I feel like it was literally Jackson in like the most like sarcastic sounding voice. Like, what? No. We didn't give you the clues. We thought you were on the bottom, Megan. Of course not.
Give it to you because we thought you were on the top. You know what? We wanted you to dominate the trap.
Because we thought you were at the top. Your guys' accent for him is so funny. Alright. Cheating scandal. Which we kind of
Ooh,
touched on already. Okay, so as production, this is like not shown, but like as production, it's super hard to keep all the people in line and like figure out who's talking to who and making sure everyone's following the rules. And that's something that's probably like the biggest thing each season is like putting out fires when like someone accidentally did something they weren't supposed to.
yeah,
But I think this is the first time that we actually had to take someone's vote away, right?
yeah. The first time there was ever like a punishment for breaking rules. Like usually it's just like kind of like a reminder kind of thing. Like, oh, maybe they didn't understand the rules. Like maybe we should be more clear about it. I think that like the reason that also like Kat ended up getting the penalty vote was, to an extent to kind of send the message that like early that like, hey, we're not going to let people get away with, um, getting information they shouldn't get. And I think the big part of it too is that Kat, like after we brought it up with Kat, she basically was like not apologetic and said like, no, I'm going to continue doing
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah, she will not
so as a
apologize.
Oh, I
result, I think,
remember
I will
that,
not
yeah.
apologize for cheating
yeah,
for the game. You know what?
no,
She will
I
not
will go out there.
apologize.
I will talk to people who are voted out, and I will not apologize for it. I'm going to continue to do it.
and like what I will say too is like I kind of think that part of like the background for all this was the fact that like the previous challenge had been like kind of a little bit disorganized. Like production had made a few mistakes and things like, oh, the puzzle pieces weren't counted correctly, and like, oh, some of the questions were like the incorrect thing, like for the quiz. And I feel like Tokidoki at that point, they basically, as a tribe, after they lost, were like, wow, like we don't. I think there's kind of this attitude going that like, oh, the producers don't completely know what they're doing, like, so screw them. Like
Oh,
Kat kind of had this
yeah.
more
There was like a
defiant
lack
kind
of
of,
respect.
which is like you can even see it a little bit like they're. Obviously, I don't think that like it was a major thing throughout the entire game. But you can even see at Tribal Council, like Kat kind of was a snappy with Cooper. Like Cooper called Matt, he's like called him Matt. He's like, it's Matthew. Like there was just kind of this like little bit of like
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
edginess between like
yeah.
Tokidoki and production, because I think that like kind of like set the scene was the previous challenge, and then like obviously Kat's penalty vote like was another thing that happened that week, kind of in the same theme. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. What do you guys think about like Kat's cheating? Like, is that something? Do you think that like that person deserves to get? She should have been voted off for that at that tribal council.
From like a strictly like strategic point, I don't really know how I would feel about it because I feel like on one hand, that could be an easy thing to kind of like band together people if you want an easy vote and be like, hey, like she could easily do this again, blah blah. But
Right.
also, it kind of already almost like makes her like really not liked, especially like any other tribe's mind. So I don't know if you want to maybe bring her to the merge and kind of as almost kind of like a like in a weird way, kind of like a meat shield. Like, oh yeah, we can get rid of Kat because we'll agree with you guys. Like that was unfair what you did. So yeah, we can vote her off. Or even just like as a goat, you could like bring to the end. Like, and if you're sitting next to her, be like, oh, she like literally got like an unfair advantage, like early in the game. So like I feel like there's like I would almost kind of like just speaking like strictly strategically, not really like morally or like is this the right thing to do. I feel like it probably would make sense to keep Kat around in the game for like to use for some reason, just as like I guess I'm always kind of the type of person to like look for those scapegoatable things. Like that's why like I was like with Ben, I'm always gonna have like that Ben bomb and stuff in the back of my mind of like, oh, this is something I can throw out against him, and just just having like those
Mhm.
little pieces of information you can
Yeah.
use to get a vote to go your way. I feel like I don't know, is something that I would kind of think about.
Yeah, I do want to say too. I mean, we didn't. I don't think we even really touched on Adam much this episode. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously this is Adam's boot episode. Uh, he. I mean, what do you guys think about like the way he played this week?
Uh, who did he want out again?
Shannon. And he had this big
Oh.
whiteboard with
Yeah,
like,
so that's the issue. The issue is that by targeting Shannon, Shannon's like really close to Dale, who's close to a lot of people. Um, so she's kind of a hard person to target.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other people did a good job of making him feel like he was kind of in control. And
Yeah.
he just didn't realize that like nobody was really telling him the truth. Which I guess is how blindsides go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Probably
it's like a hard
wasn't.
position. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Sam.
No, you go ahead, Jack.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel it's a really hard position to be in because, like, part of me wants to be like, oh, you know, it's really important to like read the room and like know how people feel about certain people. But if like people just keep feeding you bullshit and every single person you talk to is feeding you bullshit, it gets hard, especially like when you're like, this is the first vote, you don't really have a good feel on these other people, so you can't really know like, oh, this person's acting weird or they're maybe not telling me the truth because you don't really know this person. So like you might I completely understand why he feels so good about it because that's everything that he's hearing. It seems to be pointing in the direction of it being Shannon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely was not great to tell Dale that he wants to get strong players out.
Oh yeah. Because Dale's like one of the strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the whole thing where he like with Matthew, where he could have like probably bonded with Matthew over being a super fan. I think Matthew even said that, like, you know, him and Ivy had this whole conversation about like, yeah, Matt, like Adam's on the Survivor subreddit, but he's pretending like he's barely watched the show, like, and like not only does that make him look sketchy, but Matt's like, yeah, like that's also something where like we probably could have bonded over being super fans, but instead like you kind of just like lied about how much like in this whole and you know first episode like I think I've seen like Micronesia.
We're trying to put the puzzle together. We have
Yeah.
some missing pieces that someone else has. So I wonder who we can get on to help us complete that puzzle. Adam, what's been going on with you these days? How's life been?
Nothing much. I am a bored and tired and exhausted homosexual. Just finishing up the last few weeks of college before I graduate, you know, trying to get some jobs, some internships, anything to hold me over.
Classic. Are you in Michigan right now, like in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, I'm living in Ann Arbor right now. So just vibing.
Love it. All right. Well, we were talking about how we're trying to put the puzzle pieces together of this episode, but you have some of the missing pieces that we need.
I don't know if I would say I have the missing pieces, especially because I remember when Sam started like trying to figure out what happened in season 4, and he was like, "Do you remember when Cool Mint Bitch formed?" I had to sit there for a little bit and just be like, when did that form? Why did that form? And can we forget about it for me? But yeah.
I mean, I will say Cool Mint Bitch is definitely the most like interesting thing that happened on Tokidoki in his first couple of episodes.
Yeah, it honestly was.
Yeah, and that's an
It's
all-time
so
great
iconic.
alliance name.
It is.
That alliance name will haunt me for the rest of the day. Jewel Pods, Mint Jewel Pods haunt me for the rest of my life. That entire alliance was just like the audience didn't see it, but literally just an hour of just cringy smiles and cringy awkward side talk, and maybe I think about 45 minutes of Kat telling us about her life. Like even in the meeting, I knew the vibes were just gross and off. But you know what? Steam Train, we just continued on. We're like, next station, let's go.
Yeah, you four are very different people. Looks super different.
Yeah, like I don't even know what I was thinking, honestly. Like the only one I vibed with was Kat, and that's because she was like she would talk about Drag Race and how she loved drag and loved Drag Race, and she would do like drag herself. So that's the only reason we like connected. But
Right.
other than that, that was literally my first time meeting Jackson and Eliza aside from the challenges. So like I
That's
don't
so
know
funny.
what I was thinking.
The best alliance ever. Like all of us are going to offer different things, and like honestly, even as a person watching it, like as a producer and whatever, as like a audience member, like that we're always like that's an iconic alliance. I mean, we cannot deny that's an iconic alliance, but yeah, definitely it was very different personalities in there. That I mean, Kat definitely, I think we saw in the first few episodes, like rub some people the wrong way, but like I don't know. I thought that I love every single scene of you four together is just like it's just like hilarious. Like I just it was worth it for the TV. It was worth it for the TV.
I think the better meeting that didn't get shown was the
Oh,
meeting
yeah.
where we were like, all right, let's figure out who to vote after the third challenge. And it's just Eliza and Jackson and Kat just like kind of vibing, and I storm in like all angry. I'm like, this is bullshit. We shouldn't have lost. What are we gonna do? Like trying to be like this, like just so upset and like trying to match the vibes of everyone because it really felt like the entire tribe was just so upset with the challenge, and I was just like, I don't care, like it sucks that we
Mhm.
lost, but like I'm not gonna go around being pissy about it. So I was just trying to like play
Fit
towards
in.
everyone and be like, yeah, like everyone's so upset, I'll be upset too. It was just like that meeting was worse than the second meeting, I think. While the first meeting had like awkward cringy smiles and like that gross ass video, the second one was literally just like silence, and like
Dang.
Jackson and Eliza like looking around, just constantly like being like, "Who's gonna tell this kid?" Um, so I think we should have shown more of the second meeting, just because it was like
Mm,
funnier, but it didn't
yeah.
really have that much like knowledge.
Adam, so what made you end up targeting Shannon?
So like my entire thing was that Shannon must be on the bottom of the tribe because literally no one talks about Shannon, and Shannon's like always busy and always late to things. So I was
Okay.
like, just based on her time commitment alone, or what I thought like was her time commitment, I just was like, okay, well, Shannon's easy out, especially after she fucked up the puzzles. Like Shannon's easy out,
Yeah.
no issue. Of
Hmm.
course, that still led to me like freaking out and having panic attacks at like 2 in the morning over it.
Oh,
But it was just like no one was talking about Shannon, at least to me, like at all. So I was like very surprised, like watching the footage back and learning like she was close with Dale, she was close with like I guess Eliza, like she was like doing a really good social game, which I really didn't like see in my one meeting like with her. But I literally only had like one meeting with like each person on my tribe in 3 weeks. So I was like, probably why.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And then like I guess another question, not to keep going on the cool mint bitch thing over and over, but so I mean it does beg asking, because one of the things that I think some of the people were criticizing in the second episode was, you know, making alliance without having everybody in the alliance talk with each other beforehand. Like, and I think the big thing is, you know, Kat was somebody that specifically like Lisa and Jackson weren't as cool with working with. Like, did you what was the like what I guess what exactly happened there? Like, did you just kind of like think that made that like Kat was they were like more cool with Kat than they were? Like, they didn't really like what was the kind of the thinking there?
Like, all right. So at the time, I know my like Chiron or where the fuck it is. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Go
All
for
right,
it.
cool. My Chiron said like super fan or whatever, but I literally had only
Yeah.
seen like 4 seasons at that point.
It's like
Like the
Jack.
previous 2 years, like it was like Korong to like Ghost Island or something that I saw,
Mhm.
and then even then I like took like a break in between that. Like I didn't see any Survivor up until Edge of Extinction aired during the seasons, like when we started playing. So I was like, yeah, I'm a super fan. I know all this Survivor trivia because I watch like Peridium on YouTube and I like read the wiki and shit like that. But I don't have time to watch full seasons. But I was a super fan. So like I knew what Survivor was, and I've like thought about it in an analytical light before because I used to have to like analyze it for a psychology class in high school. So I was like, all right, how do you win Survivor? Well, step one, like be nice and be sociable. And I was like, with what I thought people were gonna bring to the table at a college Survivor, I thought I was doing pretty good. Like I thought everyone was gonna be like, this is like such a stupid, silly little thing. I'm not gonna like no one's gonna actually put that much effort into it. I was wrong. Everyone's a crackhead. And I just didn't match that crackhead energy. Uh, but I was like, all right, be sociable, check. At the time I thought it was a check. And the next thing I was like, I need an alliance. So I knew that like by the end of week 2, I was like, I don't have an alliance. Or maybe it was like the beginning of week 2. I was like, I don't have an alliance. And it's the beginning of week 2, and I'm not really hearing from anyone. Like I think I talked to only like Kat and maybe Ivy in that first week, and like that's it. And I'm like the type of person where I'm used to like people coming to me to talk to me, not to like sound like egotistical or anything, but no one was coming and talking to me. So I started like freaking out, and I was like, oh shit, I guess like I'm not doing as good as I thought I was. I don't have an alliance at the beginning of week 2, and I need an alliance to get through the next few weeks. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do an alliance. I'm gonna form it with people who I think would do well, and hopefully this premise of Cool Mint Bitch will drive the alliance and like get people to like it. I didn't think Kat was going to be the catalyst for like everyone being so, because like I was like looking back at the episodes, they were like Jackson and Eliza were like, all right, cool, like Jackson and Eliza will be there, or like Eliza will be there, and they're like, oh cool, Jackson will be there. But then they saw Kat and they instantly were like, So I'm just like, damn, if I knew some Cali girl, ROTC Cali girl was going to be like one of the catalysts for my game just imploding, I don't know what I would have told you. Like that's just wild to me that they hated Kat that much.
Yeah, going back to like the thinking you're a super fan, I feel like that happens to a lot of people where they think they're a super fan, but then they meet the people in Survivor Michigan, and then we're like, shoot, you're actually not a super fan. Yeah, I'd seen like one season where I thought I was like really knowledgeable.
I remember talking with Sam during when we were doing that tofu eating challenge, and him being like, you being like, oh my gosh, like, do you remember when this happened? And I was like, oh no, I haven't seen that season yet. I'm like, oh, what about that too? Like, oh my god, you like this person? I'm like, oh, and I haven't seen that one yet either. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen like maybe like 8 or 9 seasons. I think I'm the super fans.
But which I feel like is still like way more than like the average person that like on the street, like how many seasons of Survivor have they seen? But I also, Adam, I just feel like I keep going back to how funny it was. I love so much like that first episode, like and we went in the first room and you're like purposefully mispronounced Micronesia. Like I think I've seen like Micronesia. Like the fact that
I haven't seen that footage yet, but I've been told that multiple times in the past few weeks, and I gotta go back and watch that footage because I have no idea what anyone is talking about. But it sounds like something I would do, honestly.
Also, do you want to talk about how you were the one that made the rough cuts for episodes 2 and 3?
Yeah, that was the worst experience of my life. Never let me do that again.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh no, like I think they both turned out great, and Ian, like especially with the rough shape that I left like episode 3 in, because like turns out editing your go home episode when people talk shit about you, not the best mentally.
Yeah.
Especially when you're staring at it for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
replaying the same clip.
The amount of times
over
I listened to Jackson being like, oh, Adam thinks he's just a mastermind and no one wants to work with him and he's like an asshole, or like he's like just dumb, and I was like, oh, Jackson, you're so right, but I don't need to hear it. Jackson, you can insult me. You're lucky, so you're so high.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I feel like if I edited my like go home episode in season 2, it would just be the entire time of just people being like, "Oh my gosh, I love Jack so much. He's so cool," and then all of a sudden I'd get voted off, and everybody would be like, "Wait, what happened?" I'd be like, "Yeah, no, everybody just only said nice things about me."
here's the thing though, I couldn't find a single nice thing. So
Oh.
Dale had a line who's like, "Hey, I like the
I
kid. You know, it's sad. I like the kid, but he's dug his own grave." He says
Oh yeah.
That's true. Dale and I did bond our one meeting, but I don't know. I went into that game as soon as I saw Dale, I was like, all right, I don't wanna align with Dale. I don't wanna associate with Dale.
Why?
Because I instantly was like, Dale is gonna like
He has a wife.
he has a wife and he's married and he's so charismatic. And I'm just like, this guy looks like he's so good at this game. And then when we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, I almost got cast on The Real Survivor. And he was telling me about his experience. I'm like, this guy is just so crazy good at this game. And I'm just like, I cannot get wrapped up in Daddy Dale's charm. Because if I will just stay there for the rest of the game. And I don't want that. And I was really hoping that everyone around me would also be like, let's go after the older guy because like fuck. But like, I don't know, man. It's just that the Dale card really tripped me up too. But,
Wait, so why'd you tell him that you wanted to go for the strong players?
yeah, so all right. So it sounds stupid like on camera, but my logic was if I tell Dale that I don't want or that I want to go for the big players, then like that tells him that like I don't think he's a big player and therefore he should work with me because I won't want to like get him out. Because why would I tell like a big threat that I would want to get them out?
Yeah.
Like that's stupid. Like I was playing like an imaginary chess game. Meanwhile, Dale was just like logic.
I feel like with people like Dale's philosophy is just he's gonna be like, I'm obviously the biggest threat. Like, you know what? I'm this guy, 30-year-old, coming to this game in Ross Business School. So obviously, when he's talking about threats, he's gonna meet me. So you know what? I need to get his ass out of here.
Like, dude, who do you think you're talking to? The biggest threat in the
That's
game.
Kind of like my macho version of Dale. Yeah.
Adam, do you think you would have done better on El Norte?
Yes, 1,000,000%. I don't know, like, y'all really saw my gay ass in the interviews and on, like, the application. You're like, you know what? Put him with Matthew Israel, Mr. Jackson, who is the most attractive man I have ever seen, and in law school, and probably very intimidating, at least from my perception. And a 38-year-old married man, he'll do really well with the bro energy. I just don't understand like the logic in that. Like we were talking on the live reality game show podcast, like Camilla and I should have been switched. Like that's
So
that's the proper universe
I
that I
see
would like
it.
to live
Yeah,
in.
I see it.
Because I would have flirted with Ben. I would have flirted with Nate. Nate and I actually had a class literally like together while the season was
What about
airing.
me?
Whoa.
So that would have worked great.
Yeah. Jack, would you have worked with Adam?
I think definitely I could see us working together.
I would work with you.
Like especially if Camilla is on the other tribe, and like I feel like Camilla like very quickly became like my number one person. Like I feel like I definitely like I it's impossible to say, but I can definitely see us working together.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that working out.
And even if you would have flirted with Jack, he would have been totally fine with it because the same thing happened on El Norte.
Yeah.
It could have been his Camila.
Jack and I should have just been the final two.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody on Survivor that you look like, because I know I had that confession of like somebody flirting with me who looks like Amanda Kimmel. I have somebody flirting with me who looks like.
Okay, Adam definitely looks like a lot.
Who do you look like? Who's your Survivor doppelganger? I know. I'm trying to think of a good one.
He definitely has one. Come on, Sam. You're like the expert.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're the super fan.
I've been told I act a lot like Adam Klein before. which I don't know if is a good or a bad thing.
I mean, he won.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a guy like Adam Klein flirts me. Yeah. No, and me and Adam are besties, you know. Adam
Oh,
Klein are
yeah.
besties on
Adam
Instagram.
Klein
You know, he sent me the video in season 2.
Well,
Yeah.
then I'll take it. I'll be Adam Klein just to be Jack's bestie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you
But
were
I don't
to
know, you
read,
don't really see the
And
like.
that means you win
pro.
the season.
actually, you guys kind of have similar hair.
Yeah.
He kind of has that hair. It's like curly, right? Or is it straight?
Yeah,
It's definitely curly.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take it. Adam Klein.
No, and I feel like it's similar energy of, you know, trying to not get like the idol for, like from Tribal that Adam Klein does in Winners
Oh
at
my-
War. I can so see you doing that. You know, it's a similar, you know.
The cracked out super fan who doesn't really know a lot of the game but likes to think he does.
Honestly, I can
Copyright.
also
Exactly.
I can also see like Tom as being the Adam, and that like the lemon juice on the clue is kind of like the
Mhm.
like
No, Tom is that
totally
one
out of
guy.
That's true.
No, Tom's that guy. Remember that guy who like dumped the rice out and then was like the first one out? He like dumped all the rice out to see if there was a clue.
Oh, Jonathan
Oh.
Penner?
Yes,
Just do it?
Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, put it in a sock. You put it in a sock, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a
oh
very
my
Tom thing to do.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that guy.
Jacob
Forgot
Derwin.
about that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob Derwin, yeah.
Adam, if you were to play season 4 again, what would you do differently?
I would instantly disassociate every relationship I had with Kat. I love Kat so much, love of my life. She hasn't talked to me in 2 years, but I would literally jump in front of a car for her. That's just the impact Kat has had on my life. That being said, I would honestly like try to cultivate my relationship with like Ivy and Matthew more, because like I was like reading through like the summaries of like the first 3 weeks, and it was like they both really liked me and both really wanted to work with me like the first week. So I was like, I don't know why I never saw it, especially because Ivy and I had mutual friends, like her friend who is actually like the roommate of Bree, like from season 2. Like I went to high school with her.
Oh dang.
And then I also sort of knew Ben because I met him at a party literally the night before the season started. I also met like all of production at that party too, like Cooper, Aaron, Nick, Bree. Oh God, who else? Like basically that entire group. It was so funny to just be like, yeah, these are the people who I've been like talking to like professionally about this game for like the past few weeks, like during the application process. And now I see like Cooper laying on a couch, and like Ben walks up to me drunk. He's like, "You playing Survivor tomorrow?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Talk to me tomorrow." Like, oh, okay. And it wasn't even like a Survivor party either. It was like middle school prom for like the theater kids that I randomly got invited to. I was like, this is way too much for me for like the next 24 hours, like meeting Survivor people at a party where everyone's dressed like they're 12 years old, and now I'm gonna like see them tomorrow and I have to act like I like respect them. That's
Tokidoki.
like a shitty way to put it, but
I'm pretty sure Tokidoki and respecting production are two different like ideas that
Oh my
don't
god.
necessarily go
I'm
together.
getting flashbacks. Yeah.
there were multiple times I apologized in my confessionals, just being like, production, I'm so sorry. They're being so mean to you. I appreciate you though.
Yeah. Aw. Good stuff.
Even though you were trying to be the badass in your meetings, like, oh yeah, fuck production. We all hate them, don't we?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to fit in, you know?
True.
I was straight for 16 years
I
of my
feel you.
life to fit in.
You gotta
you
make the
know?
connections.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's funny.
So, another question. So, going into tribal, like, I obviously it was a blindside when you went home. Like, walk me through how that felt and how that rest of that night was for you.
Oh my god. It's so funny because I just got like the reminder, like the Snapchat, like 2 years ago this happened thing.
Mm.
And it was like I literally
Oh
just
yeah.
like sat in the dark and the new Billie Eilish album came out. So I listened to that on repeat and I was like coloring and I was like posting sad shit on my Snapchat story because I added all of my teammates on Snapchat. So I wanted them to feel bad about it. So I was like, just keep breathing. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh, look at me, poor sad homosexual. You did this. like
It's so
like
dramatic.
I was
love
just
it.
trying to like be
I'm
dramatic
the
and like
bad guy.
yes, exactly.
That's so good.
And that needs to be my new Chiron. I want that. Go back in the episode and fix it. Bad guy. Sad face. Oh my god. But yeah, I was just trying to like gain sympathy from my Snapchat. I was sad. It sucked, especially because I was like really like my heart was very into it. My head not so
Mhm.
much. And I think that's just because too I was like not on campus all the time. Like I was traveling back and forth like every weekend to go work at home. So it'd be like 5 days on campus, and that's when like I was doing school, and then I would work on the weekends and missing like parties and like other times where I could like go talk to people. So my mind just wasn't like in the game, but my heart was in the game, and I really just wanted to like play a game, whether it was a game that was completely made up in my head or like anything that was actually going to take me somewhere. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like weekends are pretty brutal to miss out on for College Survivor.
Mhm.
Like, there's a lot of shit that like will go down on weekend. Like that's a time where like you can kind of focus on the game and like, or that's time where you can look for idols all day, or because you don't have any classes, or just like focus on like talking with people, or you're like going to like the parties or whatever, doing a little socialing with people, going to metal frat parties, like in the episode, just stuff like that. Like I feel like that definitely is rough to come back from
Yeah.
without like not being able to be there for weekends.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, Adam, like, even though the game didn't go the way you wanted it to, you definitely made the first couple episodes very, very entertaining on Tokidoki. Like, I just the pure amount of like one-liners and drama that you caused was incredible.
that's all I wanted to do. I'm a attention whore at heart, and I love Survivor, so I was like, perfect. This is great. I'll get YouTube, internet stardom. I got some hot dad to call me attractive on Twitter, so I'll take it. Worth it. Worth the trauma.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for inviting me, giving me more attention, feeding my ego. You should really stop that. Don't do that.
Are you a Leo?
No, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm throwing it back to the Maggie. All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else for Adam?
I think I'm good. I mean, Adam, do you have any other, last thoughts? Any other thoughts you want to go off your chest about the season?
No, if you're gay and single, my Twitter is attached to Survivor Michigan all over the place, so go find me.
Hit him up.
Yeah, hit me up. I don't have shame.
I love that.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. So good to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye. I love Adam. He's so funny. I would actually definitely align with him.
Yeah.
Literally. So sad that he went out so early. It's just like it's so hard for me to see Tom and Adam go back to back like that when both of them are like such big fans of the game and wanted to be there so bad. like you could just see that both of them are so crushed, like when they were voted off too.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like if Austin had been like the second boot.
Oh yeah,
That would have been
Mhm.
so
that would have
sad.
been brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, honestly, it's interesting too how like I honestly do see a few parallels in like Tom and Adam and the way they played their games and their tribes of just like being that super fan who really is excited to play, but just like maybe hits the ground running a little bit too hard and like gets that target in their
Mhm.
back, and then gets blindsided and is devastated afterwards. Like it is kind of fun, interesting how many parallels the two of them had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was really interesting how he talked about like how much he went into the game like with like this plan and just kind of like laying out everything about like what he was going to do. I feel like kind of like Tom really just had like really just wanted to hit the ground running, like you said, and just like knew exactly what he wanted to talk to everybody, but also like, he was looking so forward like ahead to the future. He's like, oh, Jack's this huge threat, like, but I also want to plant these seeds. I think they're both kind of, they have all these things kind of like set out that they want to do, and then they're just like, almost kind of like compressing like multiple stuff into like one game week, when it's maybe stuff that should be, I don't know, laid out more. And you're just, maybe thinking, and like the whole thing with Dale about, thinking on like too many levels. Like, I feel like that's a classic like Tom move of thinking like, oh, I'm actually going to say this to make him think that if he is, because he's not a threat, because really I think that he is a threat, but I want him to think I'm not a threat, so I'm going to tell him that I want to take out the threats, and really it's just going to be like, you can kind of take those things at base level, and be like, oh yeah, tell somebody who's obviously like the most threatening player, like who's not a returnee, this 30-year-old man, like, like obviously he's going to take that in a different, in a different way.
Yeah, I do think if we're comparing Tom and Adam though, I think Tom did more overplaying, whereas Adam just aligned with like the wrong people. Like he was saying, if he had maybe formed it with Ivy, Matthew, and Kat or someone, like that could have worked better. Whereas Tom really, like, I feel like you guys would have kept Tom around longer if he was more chill. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
I mean, that's true. I do also think, I don't want to underestimate the amount of like control though that like Dale and Shannon, like, and like even in Jackson and Elise, like kind of like these big threats had in the tribe early. Like I do think that like Adam had a tough draw on this tribe. Like I feel like if he would have thrown Kat under the bus a little bit, then he probably could have outlasted her. Like if he would have just like kind of stuck with Matthew and like Ivy. Like I don't necessarily know if he would have been able to.
He really liked Kat.
He did though, which is tough because like honestly, I'll be honest, I kind of feel like people are a little bit too hard on Kat. Like, I mean, she's definitely a pretty like controversial, like abrasive player, but like I don't know. I'll say, to be honest though, at the same time, like I feel like she just like kind of had played herself into a pretty bad situation socially in the tribe, and like kind of aligning with that person is just kind of like strategic suicide to an extent. Like if you're kind of attaching yourself to the person that like everyone in the tribe hates, then it's kind of like that's on you a little bit. Which is tough though, because if you really connect with that person, like I can see where Adam's coming from, and like, well, they really felt like they connected and like liked each other, then like you don't want to ditch that person.
Yeah.
I think I was just kind of thinking about it more. I think Adam had kind of like a weird combination of playing too slow and too fast at the same time, because like you said, like he only met with some of these people like one time. Like at least Tom was constantly calling and FaceTiming these people and wanting to meet up and stuff. Like I feel like Adam kind of wanted to go like super hard, almost like maybe like strategically, but not as much socially. I don't know if that completely makes sense. I'm just kind of thinking about this right now, but
that makes sense.
And I feel like he almost kind of, and like him talking about in our interview, kind of like just being like, oh, I'm going to be the only one who's really going to be playing the super hard. Like I feel like he almost kind of like thought that he could come into the game and play almost just like at a like everybody else is going to be playing at like a Borneo level, and he could just come in and be like, all right, we're going to have this alliance, and the alliance is going to be able to control the votes, and this is what I think the alliance is going to be. Whereas like, he didn't realize that everybody else is like you said, a crackhead, and they're going to be thinking about, oh my god, this like all these strategic moves, and like I got to make good socially with this person. Like even people who like aren't even super big Survivor fans, I feel like kind of like I feel like we cast people for the show who want to like they compete really hard, even if they're not super familiar with Survivor. They're gonna like dive fully into it, and he just
Right.
wasn't really prepared for that.
Competitive.
This next segment here, I was realizing, I guess we haven't really explained what we were doing in these segments. For those of you who maybe this is your first season listening to this podcast, one of the things that we always do after interviewing the player who's voted off is give them a little eulogy, basically talk about their game, what went wrong, kind of what the overall, what overall thoughts in their game. The next thing we do is we basically compare that player to all the other players that got the same placement in the other seasons. So if you haven't watched the other seasons, you don't want the spoilers, you can skip this. Even though, let's be real, if you're watching season 4, you're going to be getting a bunch of spoilers anyways. But what we do is we try to rank them against, Adam got 14th place. So who got 14th place in season 3, season 2, and season 1? And how does Adam compare? How does his game compare to their games?
And we like to think, like, the way we measure it is, like, if we were to run the game, like, 100 times, who would come out, like, in a better placement each time.
Mm-hmm.
So, for 14th place, we have Kevin from season 2, Sarah Minnis from season 3, and Jess from season 1. And that's the order that we have them ranked right now. I think Adam's definitely above Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jess in season 1, for those of you who don't remember.
Jess just didn't really try.
Yeah. Her big
thing was also not that entertaining.
No. I mean, her thing was I remember she was late to the first challenge because she was at her brother's football game, and then she just didn't do much after that. That's all I really remember about her.
Well, she didn't want to apologize for it.
Exactly. She gave us that one-liner, though.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
grateful
been
for that.
used a lot in KYTL.
It's true. She
so
did.
We thank her for that.
It's been used a lot.
Yeah. If we ever say a line that doesn't make any sense to you guys, then you can pretty much assume that it comes from a previous, some one-liner that a player said.
Season's inside joke.
Yeah, some one-liner that wasn't nobody else really remembered, not memorable at all, but just what we picked up on.
We just somehow we really picked it up and just ran with it. Yeah. How do we think he stacks up against Minnis?
Ooh. This actually is tough for me. Sarah Minnis.
This is tough for me too.
So if I remember correctly, on season 3, she was on Tafiti, and she kind of was. I remember there kind of being these two trios, wasn't it? Kind of Dylan, Sarah,
and Cassie.
And then Chloe,
Cassie.
Brady.
Yeah.
No. There's two pairs. There's Brady and Chloe, Sarah Minnis, and Dylan, and Cassie was kind of in between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think that
Sarah
had done a decent job of But she also had that whole thing where she spilled a bunch of information at that party, and kind of got Chloe mad at her. And then she ended up going home in that crazy tribal council where Eliza and Devin had those fake idols. I feel like Sarah didn't make any. She did. She went the way she went out was kind of she shouldn't have gone home that tribal council. They had.
It wasn't like she did anything wrong.
No, and she. Yeah, I mean, she had an idol was played on Eliza correctly. And
but also Kevin's ranked first, and he kind of messed up that week.
That's also true. I mean, both of them made mistakes. Kevin messed up. Yeah. Well, I think the reasoning was for Kevin, he had complete control of the original Cerulean tribe. He was the one that basically Daniel made him. He basically was in power with Bailey. He found the idol. He had this cross-tribe thing with Sarah. He made some mistakes and put a big target on his back, but he did at least have a lot of power and influence in the beginning stages of the game. The swap kind of screwed him. The whole.
I think I would put Kevin. Yeah, I think I would still put him first. I think it's just between Minnis and Adam for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I guess I feel through our criteria of running the same season again and again, like I don't know. I do find it kind of hard to see Adam with like his mentality going into the game and with his situation of having to go home on weekends. Like I don't know. Like maybe if like
True.
I don't know how in depth we get into the exact minutia of our criteria and everything, but like maybe if he was on El Norte, he could have made it further and like if in these hypothetical scenarios where me and him align, or like he has better alliances, or like if he chooses not to align with Cat. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but at the same time, like I feel like the situation, like the circumstances for him, weren't like the best in a few different ways, like going into the season. So like I don't know how much like just taking into account his like going into this season, that may be him looking back at this season if we're rerunning the simulations and they have past memory. I don't know. We can get really Tinker Tailor in our exact details of how this thing works, but I just feel like I find it hard that this like where like how he was thinking about the game and stuff. I feel like it's hard for me to see him really going that far. In Menace, I feel like I could definitely see going further from one for like weird freak things, like kind of what happened, like we were saying.
Oh, for sure.
That's true. Yeah.
I definitely feel like if you're ever just looking at like the version of that player that like what their skills are, what their strategy was going into the game, like I feel like Sarah like is someone that in some scenarios could have won season 3. Like
really
the way that she was playing. Like I mean, I remember even like early on Tafiti, like she was definitely like she was in a bit of a power position. Like she was definitely one of those dark horse kind of like she was thinking strategically. I think the thing about Adam is that like it's going to be really hard for him to win against this cast if he's going to play it the same way that he played in season 4. Versus I feel like Sarah, she can do pretty well in that cast the way that she was playing, because like in the Maze of Confused kind of season, like if you're going to play a little bit more low key and loyal, you're going to do pretty well. But if you're going to be kind of like a little bit all over the place, like Adam was in season 4, you're going to be running into people like Matthew and Eliza and Dale, or even on El Norte, Jack, all these people that are going to kind of like see past it, I think. Which is that's the thing. I think that Adam coming into the game kind of feeling like thinking that other people weren't going to play as hard as they did is something that would make it harder for him to do super well if we're having this season 4 version of Adam play the season a bunch of times.
Yeah. So are we placing him above Jess and below Kevin and Menace then? Is that kind of I feel like that's kind of what we're agreeing on.
Yeah, but like super close, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of Menace,
And
that's
and
the
in
thing
terms
too.
of entertainment, like, I mean, like
not to hate on Adam.
It's so entertaining.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, he's up there with Kevin for entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%. He was so much fun. It's so sad to see him go because, like, it's the thing. Adam is such a chaotic player in this season, and I love watching the chaotic players.
I love chaotic.
It's so hard for chaotic
100%.
players to do well, which is why I think Maggie was very unique in season 2, because usually that chaos is not gonna like. And with Kevin, another chaotic player, like it's hard to do well as a chaotic player, but it's so much fun to watch. And that's what I really appreciate about Adam, is he really brought a lot of entertainment. And also, like, props to him for like editing those episodes and like helping with those episodes where he was like getting voted off. Like, I think he did a really good job with that. Like,
damn.
Episode 3, he actually storyboarded himself as well. So props to Adam for that.
Wow.
Did a great job.
That's awesome. Storyboarding is a lot of work.
It is.
You have to sort through so much footage and just like put it together and like just like make it entertaining and like understandable.
No, I think storyboarding is actually pretty easy. I think like a baby could do it. I don't think it's that impressive or anything. I'm kidding, because Sam Morris has been storyboarding a lot of like the past few seasons. So if you guys aren't aware, I'm not just being
and with that, Jack. with that comment, Jack's edit just got a little bit worse for season 4. So
all of a sudden, I'm not gonna have a single.
I know it's like live editing, so you better watch out.
Oh, that's true.
Purple edit.
Yeah.
So next week we have. I heard that we have a player, and I think he played on the season that was called Micronesia?
Micronesia.
Isn't that Eric played on?
Micronesia?
Okay, honestly, this player has played with the icons, and he is an icon himself.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's gonna be on the show and get to play with the people on the season is insane to me.
Blew my mind.
I forgot how that happened, but I'm
blew
into
my
it.
mind. Yeah, we're gonna get.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's gonna be great in the
Yeah.
episode, and I'm sure we're
that's
gonna go
insane.
a lot into the inner work of how exactly that was able to happen next time on Keep Your Torch Lit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even other
yes,
than that,
yes, we
Definitely
will.
I don't want to go bleed out of place, but I feel like even other than Eric Reichenbach, this is going to be a very fun episode, and I feel like it's going to be definitely not going to be one you're not going to want to
One of the
miss
best.
for a number of reasons. So yeah.
I was gonna make a really bad.
Please do.
I was gonna say we'll be Riken back next week.
Oh, that was super
Beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, end it there.
Oh my
Thank you
God.
guys.
beautiful.